Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lee Johnson, and if you are new here and haven't subscribed and you like my content, obviously, then you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, and like, share, comment, etc, etc, etc. And if you'd like to support the channel on just this channel generally, and then there's a join button, just a small little fee every month, and it helps me carry on going, really. We also have the Black Hat Chat live show on Fridays. If you'd like to join in with that, you can ask questions, say hello, and get involved in the chat itself. And the Black Hat Chat, we also have Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee, where you can sign up for different tiers, and you can get lessons in tarot and cartomancy, or a course in demonolatry. I speak about magic, witchcraft, demonolatry, all of that stuff, really. Okay, so what to do with your magic and how to get out of your own way. First of all, it is quite important to actually, when you're going into magic, when you're actually going to do ritual itself, especially ritual, you want to make sure that you are feeling right, you're feeling healthy, you are feeling mentally balanced, emotionally balanced, because if you are sick, if you are ill, or if you are going through some kind of psychosis, or if you are incredibly emotionally unbalanced at the time, going into magic can be detrimental. Detrimental in the sense that it could increase what's happening at that time. You don't need to be completely utterly fit. I'm not totally fit, but if I am very ill, I won't go and do magic. You also take that into your magic, so you need to bear that in mind. You don't want to go and do a ritual or a working or something and you are sick as a dog, and you go in and you actually take that with you into the magic, or you are very emotional at the time, something bad could have happened and you're extremely sad, you could be very, very depressed, your mental health might be in question. It happens to everybody, but if at that time it's something that is a bit extreme, it's on the extreme side, it's not just those normal, day by day ups and downs. There's something that's severe that's happened, and it's causing a severe reaction in you, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. You are going to take all of that into your magic. So the best thing to do is actually just hold back, just stop, pause, and work on yourself first. And then when you're balanced again, balanced enough, then you can go back into magic. There is spell workings you can do in order to help with your emotional state or your mental state or even your physical state. You can do healing work of all varieties and all kinds. So instead of actually going into a magic ritual or a magic working that is specific for, say, you're trying to increase money, trying to improve your business, trying to find a love interest, rather work on yourself first. And that's actually probably one of the most important parts, is to work on yourself. It's something you need to do consistently and constantly throughout your practice anyway, is work on yourself. We keep hearing about shadow work. That's just one way of actually working on yourself. But there's also this thing of getting out of your own way. You'll find that when you get into a working or a ritual, in order to continue or allow that working to actually take place, you need to get into a trance state. And it's almost like you become robotic almost, actually. Things can become mechanical. It's a step 1 to step 2 to step 3 scenario. Because quite often what we do is we go into a working or a ritual, and we are too much in our heads. You need to get out of your own way. And especially if you're doing something like channeling or medium work, something where you actually do need to basically allow something else to come in and work its magic, work its way through you, work its way out of you into the working you're doing. And if you're standing in the way, you're going to block it. So you kind of need to get out of your own way, as we say. So a good example of this would be if you are doing working for your business or for money, for a job. You go into the working and you are constantly thinking about what's going to happen. It's that monkey mind thing as well. And also we have the idea of lusting after results. So when you do a working, and sigil work can be as simple as sigil work, or it can be more complex. It doesn't matter what spell working you're doing. Once you've done the work, you need to forget about it. Otherwise, you start lusting after results. So once you've done the working, you wrap up and finish, and then you go have a cup of coffee and something to eat, and just ground yourself and forget about what you did and allow the energy to actually go to where it needs to go. If we start lusting after results, we start questioning if we did things right, should we have done it another way, did we actually need to do it in the first place, etc, 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 etc. And then we start hitting it, and the energy kind of doesn't get to where it needs to go to. So after the working, don't lust after results. Just do something completely different. But during the working itself is very similar. During the working, we might be thinking, are we doing this right? Should I do this anyway? Should I actually work with a different spirit? Should I have used a different method for this spell working instead of candle working, candle magic? Maybe I should have actually done sigil working. Constantly questioning yourself in the magic. That's just gonna completely explode and completely bombard everything, and it's going to block you. But also, we also have the monkey mind, which starts thinking about what we're going to eat for supper. That email you've got to send tomorrow. Is your son or your daughter doing okay? It's all these thoughts just keep coming in, and this is why meditation becomes very important. Through practice of meditation, you learn to actually quiet the mind, still the mind. But at the same time, you learn how to become the observer. And by becoming an observer, you sort of remove yourself from yourself and you watch instead of participating. So you can take that through into your magical practice. And this is why we keep saying meditation is so important. A lot of people skip over it because it's boring. You've got to do the same thing every single day. And it just becomes monotonous, and we don't want to do it anymore, but you've got to do it. Otherwise, if you want your magic to work properly, you just got to do all these things. Just like anything, with anything in life, there's going to be bits and bobs that you don't like doing because it's boring, but you still got to do it. Otherwise, you can't do the other stuff. So get into your meditation and do it daily. But consistently practice your meditation, consistently work on quieting the mind, consistently work on becoming the observer. So when you're actually in your magical working, you are the observer, you are the creatrix, and by being the creatrix, you are moving bits and pieces of the puzzle around, and you can't question. The creatrix won't question. The creatrix knows what they want, and they will do it. That's all there is to it. You just have to do it. And if you feel like you're doing it wrong during the working, don't question it. Just carry on doing what you're doing. The energies, they don't just get manipulated with what you're actually doing. The energies will flow in a certain way that even if you think you're doing something wrong or you should have done something differently, it's what happened at that time. It's that fate versus free will argument. We're somewhere in the middle. There's no hard fate and there's no hard free will. So quite often what happens is while we're doing the working, we might make a mistake, but that mistake is probably not a mistake. We think it's a mistake because it wasn't part of the plan, but the energies are actually moving us to do a particular thing in a particular way. So you've got to let those things happen. And this is why, again, become the observer. Observe, as you still got to participate because you've got to do the work, but observe more than you would be participating. Allow things to happen the way they're supposed to happen. The way the energies are actually flowing, the way the energies are actually moving you to do things. And because you're following that flow of energy, it will continue to flow into the actual result of your magic. If you start, if you're feeling the energies taking you in a particular direction, but that wasn't part of the plan, so you push that away and you come back to the plan, then you're going to block. So just let the energy flow the way it's supposed to flow and become sensitive to it. So this video is actually mostly about ways in which we block ourselves when we're trying to do our magic, trying to do our spell work. One is, there's a lot of ways we can block ourselves, but the two main things that I want to actually bring up here were, firstly, make sure you are not going through some kind of extreme reaction to something that's happening in your life. Whether you are incredibly ill, whether you have had a mental or emotional breakdown, if that's happened, if it's severe, don't take that into your magic. Get better first. Repair yourself. Look after yourself. Once you've worked on yourself, then you can go into your magic. But that's just from moment to moment. Also remember that looking after yourself, healing yourself, working on yourself is also important, and it's a consistent process. It needs to happen on a daily basis, continually, right through your practice, right through your life. We shouldn't stop working on ourselves and trying to improve ourselves. And the second thing is get out of your own way. So when you're doing your magic, you're not interfering with the magic itself and the process that needs to happen. Let the energy flow the way it needs to flow and let it take you. So you've got to sort of give up a bit of control. People don't like giving up control. We always like to control everything in our lives, but you do have to give up a bit of control, and you need to just let the energy take you. It's a bit like having it's spoken about in The Way of Weird. Brian Bates, there was a part where the guy was trying to jump over a balefire, and he was letting his weird take him, and sort of he floats over the fire basically, but it kind of comes out of his will center, out of his navel area, and it's just kind of, well, the way when I read it, this is what I imagined. It was like this big cord that was flowing forward, and then it would like go over the balefire itself, and as he's running, he actually follows that cord, so lifts off the ground, floats over the balefire. And same in same kind of concept in Donnie Darko, where he has that kind of liquid cord that comes out of his belly and starts moving him towards different things. So I always picture it like that, really. If you find that you're in a ritual or a working and the energy is kind of pushing you or pulling you in a certain direction, go in that direction. Let the energy lead you. Don't fight against it. And you've got to give up some control. And I know it's very difficult, but you've got to give up some control. You've got to let the energy take you. It knows where it needs to take you. It's intelligent. It's part of you as well. That energy is connected to everything. It's connected to you and everything around you. So that energy knows where it needs to take you, because you know where you need to be, where you need to go. Maybe not on a conscious level, but on an unconscious level and a spiritual level, you know where you need to go. But our consciousness comes along and starts fighting it because of our ego self. So you just got to master the ego self, give up a little bit of control, and trust yourself, your deeper self, your higher self, your lower self, all those parts of you which know where you need to go. And yeah, the ego self's a bit of a pain in the arse, we know, but can be mastered. Anyway, I'm going to start rambling again. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, and you can, as I said, you can hit the join button if you would like to support this channel on a general basis. And hopefully I'll see you on Friday in the Black Hat chat, in the live chat. We are talking about healing this week, which is going to be quite interesting. Otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a good one. Cheers.